What's up, everybody? Still at the House of Kawasaki here in Oklahoma City. We're going to do ourselves the most versatile engine in motorcycling, it appears. The Kawasaki 650 engine. Part of the Ninja 650 family, part of the Vulcan S, part of the Z650 family, part of the Versus family. It's a little bit everywhere. So we're going to do this in the Sport Naked bike, the 650 parallel twin Kawasaki. Updated this year. Look more like its bigger brothers, the 900 and the H2. Very good looking machine once again. Liking the way they're starting to look. I love the trellis frame coming out and the Kawasaki green there. Very deep paint on here. You can see a lot of flake and metallic on it. Now these bikes are really well known to be some pretty good starter bikes. And that's because they're just so versatile. They're the in-between. They're not too fast, not too slow. Something you can start with, grow into, and just keep going all at the same time. Nice, comfortable. Has passenger provisions. Control surface is extremely simple as well. Adjustable. You have adjustable brake lever, engine cutoff, engine start, hazard, horn, turn signals, bright, flash pass, and adjustable clutch lever. Kawasaki's newer updated platform, giving everybody pretty much a similar look. You can see that you can go through trip A, trip B, the regular odometer. You can sit there and see your average MPG, range, speed, time, voltage, active MPG, right there. Gear indication, fuel, turn signals, bright, service engine, ABS, neutral. So nice, simple platform right there. Great looking bike. Let's see if she rides as great as she looks. Let's climb up on here. This does have a nice low seating position. You can see a nice big bend to my leg there. Feet flat on the ground on both sides. All right, go ahead and prime it up here, and very familiar sound. Sounds exactly like a Vulcan S. Now, front shocks are going to be non-adjustable. Back shock is going to be preload only. Cable actuated clutch. Once again, Kawasaki in these lovely, lovely light clutches. Friction zone is going to be found fairly quickly, around 2.5 to 3. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take her out for a roll here. Like I said, this engine's a very versatile engine. You can find it in a sport bike, in a cruiser, in a naked, and an adventure bike. It's a little bit of everywhere. And basically the only thing that they do to tune it is they put a different resistor cap on it so that you don't have to have multiple different ECUs or anything for different power. So you could actually get the proper amount of power just by changing that resistor cap or having a reflash. So if you want a little bit more horsepower out of it and you got a Vulcan S, find the little green thing under your seat if you're in the US, take it out, and now you got a Ninja 650 power. And it changes the attitude, it really does. Same thing for this bike. It's probably going to be more in line with the Ninja 650 in terms of how it's done already, so you probably don't have to worry about it. Now this bike is super, super light, so sitting at these, nothing. Alright, as you can see, the mirrors, just like the H2, just like all the other nakeds in this category. I see a little bit of my elbows on each side, but I have a pretty good view of the lanes behind me and next to me. starting to dig these new screens that they're putting on it, the new color TFTs, because they really are brilliant in giving a lot of information relatively quickly. So I could see that thing blinking at me when it's just like, you could shift, it's fine, you can do this, it's fine. Oh yeah, braking's nice. It's got those two large discs up front, single rear. But great grab, great progressive feedback there, good braking. But yeah, you can just look down and everything's so visible so quickly, even in the bright sun that we have right now. They're getting better and better at getting those designed. Of course, this is auto dimming as well, so it has a little deal on it that if it senses darkness or shadows, it'll adjust itself. And acceleration is great. You can pull away from traffic quite readily. And get up to speed very quickly. Transmission is precise, not notchy whatsoever. Nice clean shifts. So far, 45 miles an hour is garnering around 3,300 RPM, 34 in 6th gear. So gearing is attuned for being a city cruiser, for economy and cruising. Seating position, not quite as aggressive as some of the bikes I've been on. It's actually very reminiscent of the MT-07, which is going to be the bike kind of closest to it in the class here. It is a somewhat middle footing position, so your feet do come down and slightly back, but they land pretty quickly, almost right under your knee, so they don't come as far back as your shoulder like some of these naked offerings. So it's more upright position. As you can see, legs are nice and tucked into the tank, nice and comfortably. My feet fit these pedal boxes just fine, despite the fact they're size 14 and huge. Now, I am 6 foot tall, 32-inch inseam, and around 209 pounds. And this bike right now is holding me just fine with no preload adjustments or anything, and the suspension is doing just fine right now. We're going to find some more broken roads, and we'll get some more feedback on them later. Seat overall is actually much smaller, so you can't really get back and tuck. You can, but it's not as comfortable as doing it on some of the larger rides. The MT-07 actually has a little bit more room to do that with if you need to. Downshifts are precise as well. This thing accelerates great. I mean, overall, a very easy to use, easy to approach, good power motorcycle so far. You do feel a little bit of buzzing coming into the handlebars and a little bit at your feet, so that's something to be expected though. Parallel twins always seem to do that. 4 cylinders smooth that out a little bit, but anything that's a twin, always a little bit more imbalanced. That's nothing to be afraid of. And it's not annoying either. Just, you're on a machine. Now with all the wind we've got today, bike is very well planted on the road. I know we're just doing the regular old road speeds, but so far so good. Go ahead and use this wonderful compression braking once again. This bike will crawl almost to a stop on its own. In fact, I'm not even tapping the main brakes. There's no reason to. Absolutely no reason to tap main brakes there. Just step it down slowly and easily and you're good to go. All right, here's a good test of some suspension. Bouncing over these railroad tracks here. I'll stay on the seat if I'm not going to go too slow. Well, too slow, guys, I'm sorry. So what happens when you have to deal with regular traffic, right? Let's see. But, you know, it still went over that really well. It's a very balanced machine, so it's not much to worry about, but it's so light too. It's easy to flick. Just barely put any input in, and it's already going over. All right. Like I said, we'll go ahead and step down. Like I said, I don't really need primary braking at all except for a light. So I'm kind of holding the rear brake a little bit so the light will come on, and that's all I'm using it for. And everything else is being done by this compression braking, which is phenomenal. Same thing I've experienced on every 650 Kawasaki that I've rode so far, is that engine braking performance will get the bikes down in a hurry and without any fuss. The engine is smooth on downshift. The transmission is very good on downshift as well. Just blip throttle, everything matches, and it's a very smooth downshifting motorcycle. You can see I could scoot up to speed relatively easily. I mean, you can get away from traffic in a hurry. This is the bike that's perfect for this kind of circumstance. When you're in traffic, you're on the road, you're trying to get through town, you need to zip between cars and get to where you're going in a little bit of a hurry. This bike will do it for you, and it's very, very easy to use. Like I said, it's so approachable. There's no power modes. There's no additional fun things to mess with. It's just pure motorcycle with a few electronic nannies to help you out, such as not traction control, but such as ABS. So that's a great thing about this, is that it's a bike that's easy to approach. You don't have to worry about trying to set it up and get it all dialed in like a race bike or anything like that. You just throw a leg over it, fire it up, and ride it. And it's very welcoming. Like I said, the power band on it is wide and it's very deep. It's a very mid-range motorcycle, but it also works really well in the low range as well, as you're just starting out and everything. So it doesn't bog down there like a lot of mid-range bikes do. It's actually handling the slower RPM very well. So if you need to learn progressive clutch movement and all that as a brand new rider, this is a bike that you can definitely do it on, because it's going to forgive you. It's not going to bog as easy. And then when you get up in this power band, as you can see flashing here, this bike wants to rip and snort a little bit more at that point, and then you can have more fun with it as you grow into it. And riding it on these city streets with this broken asphalt and concrete, the suspension is very, very tame. It's not extremely soft, and it's not extremely hard. It's a little bit more toward the harder side, surprisingly. The front end doesn't have any chop whatsoever, and we're running a traditional fork. We're not running upside down on this bike. So it's very much like the MT-07 in that. But I don't feel any chop in it whatsoever. It's going over very compliant. You can see me hitting all these creases and brakes and everything, and it's not throwing it side to side. It's not doing this at all. No wobbling, no finding anything to get stuck in. It's tracing really nicely. The rear suspension is planted as well. It's not causing me to bump out of the seat or anything like that. It's just being very nice. Very easy to use back there. Once again, all engine braking here, folks. Just timing those downshifts. Yeah, just timing those downshifts down. All engine braking pretty much from there. Only using the rear brake as a way to turn on the light. Not even using it hard. Just something that's there. But the main brakes have been very good so far. I did a pretty decent check on them earlier, and they will haul this thing down in a hurry. It does have, of course, twin discs up front, which for a bike that small, or this small I should say, is actually surprising. Usually you see only a single disc up front. Alrighty. Now, like I said, turning is easy on this machine. It's a very compliant chassis. So when you come up on the twisties, if you've got some twisties, unlike this lovely place called Oklahoma, the pancake of the universe, and you could do some seriously good canyon carving with it and enjoy an amazing ride. I mean, right now, all I'm doing is weight shifting. I'm not really even putting any input into the bars because this is not a turn. This bike already wants to do it. Just a little weight shift and you're good to go. Like I said, it's so flickable, it's so ready to turn. I need a very good canyon to show you guys that this bike is very, very well balanced and complete and can teach you the finer things about handling a motorcycle through everything. But I just like how tame and lovely it is. It's just a nice little plucky machine. Very good ride. Very compliant ride. Easy to get along with. Like I said, getting it through the city here, getting it through these rougher patches, perfect for this machine. But this is a bike too, because you are more upright on it. You have a pretty decent seating position. It's a very standard position. You don't have any weight on your wrists or anything. It's actually pretty much well straight, and as you can see, straight down to the wrist from the elbow, and from shoulders, it's pretty much straight down. You're nice, just a nice little seating position. That's neutral and easy to use. You can throw some bags over this bike. It has extremely good fuel economy too. You can pretty much take this thing cross country if you wanted to. May not have all the clothes in the world you'll need, just bring some quarters with you so you can wash what you got, because this will do it. But it'll also go through the city day after day as a commuter as well and help you get to point A and B pretty quickly, sneak through traffic on this little rocket here. As you can see, just dive away and get away. It's just a lovely machine. I love well-balanced, all-around motorcycles. That's what we need to get more people into motorcycles. Something that's easy to approach, that when you slap it, it'll be as fun as heck as they grow into it. But if they're not ready for that, it's just nice and easy to ride and treat you really well. Now, as we're going through this ride, I do feel a little bit of heat coming off the right side of the engine. I do feel it on my very lower part of the leg, on my shin near my ankle. This is where I do feel some heat coming in a little bit on this machine. Right now, engine temperature is 165, so we've got it up to temperature pretty well there, and I'm feeling that just a little bit. But be honest, in motion, not a big deal. I'm only really feeling it right now as we're slowed down and we're sitting still. And yes, folks, this bike is that quiet. It is very quiet. All right, nice broken concrete ramp here again. As you can see, I'm not even bumping my voice on this one. Like I said, the suspension is just brilliant. It's a very well balanced suspension, very well done by Team Green. Alright. So we're in the power band, we're in 6th gear, we're got about 4,700 to 4,800 RPM to do 70 miles an hour on the interstate. So it has very long legs up to its 10,000 RPM red line yet to go. Bike on the interstate is nice and planted. Like I said, we're riding with wind to our side right now, blasting this bike, and it's not moving me whatsoever. Very well planted machine. See that wind coming in strong from the south here, not moving me even close. In fact, I'm sitting pretty much straight up still. Alrighty. Like I said, just really easy to use controls and everything. This bike is very well engineered. Seat overall is actually pretty comfy. I was expecting it to be a little hard. The only thing I don't like is I don't have enough room to shift. I'm used to having a little bit more seat room to shift up and down. But if I shift up a little bit, I'm more on my tailbone. If I shift down a little bit, well, I'm a guy, so you can guess where that is. So you have to be like perfectly neutral in the seat, so you don't have much movement. But like I said, I'm a little bit bigger dude, so that would cause that. Just missed it. So now we're sitting here kind of going over this. Like I said, I have had no trouble with this particular monitor at all, despite there's no clouds in the sky. There's all sun. I'm about to put it to my back, so it's going to be right on it again. But it's been so visible. It's been so easy to read. When these things first started rolling out, they were an annoyance in a way. You couldn't really see them. Yamaha Bolt comes to mind. That thing was the most unreadable gauge cluster on a motorcycle in the history of mankind. Everything, as soon as the sun hit it, disappeared. But as they've matured and as they put these on more motorcycles and taken some of the designs from cell phones and stuff as they try to combat the light, it's starting to work out really, really well for us, so that we can get all the information in the world and be able to visibly see it. And as you can tell, as I'm going down here, there's a little bit of chop in my voice, but it rides these bumps very, very well. And it's not hurting it at all. Hops right back on the interstate. Like I said, I'm putting that right back to my left side. There is no wind issue whatsoever. This bike is so planted and stable, despite the fact it's a lightweight. This bike weighs nothing, and it's this well planted. And as a new rider, you'd appreciate that. You don't want to be blown around and tossed by wind or blast or anything. You want something that can cut through it, and so far, so good for this machine. And throttle is just effortless on it. I mean, these bikes can run well into the 100-mile-an-hour range without an issue. And you don't need to put much throttle input into them at all either. They just go. They just ride. But it doesn't come on so fast. It's not twitchy in any way. It's very smooth response on the throttle. So as you ride it, it's very, very compliant. Fueling is great on it. I don't feel any missing zones in it or anything. It's very one-to-one. You move that throttle in any way and it's already starting to go, but it doesn't just open it suddenly. It's a nice, smooth, and progressive style throttle. All right, big bump. Boop, boop. Still nothing. But overall, the Z650 is an extremely well-balanced motorcycle. The power is adequate. The suspension is great for this kind of machine in this price range. Like I said, I like the fact that you have adjustable levers on both sides of this machine, so you can kind of tailor it to you. And of course, it does have the just the preload adjustable shock on the back, so it's not anything special. It doesn't have preload on the front or adjustability or rebound, but it doesn't need it. It rides perfectly fine as it is, and I didn't even mess with it. This is just a fantastic little motorcycle. So if you're looking for that entry-level motorcycle, this is a good place to go too. The Z400 is fantastic. It's great for shorter commutes. It's great to go around in the city with as well. This particular machine has got that little bit more long-range appeal to it. It's got more power. It actually rides a little bit better on the highway. Actually, a lot better. It's way smoother. It tracks really well. There's not as much buzzing. Like I said, it does feel like there's a little buzz, but it's not anything to write home about. It's not going to pins and needles you. It's just overall a nice bike. Your hands are up in the air. You don't have any weight on your wrist or anything like that. Like I said, I'm taller at 6 foot tall, and my trunk is kind of longer, so it does make for me to usually put weight on bikes like this on my wrist, but I'm not doing it here at all. It's just a great overall well-rounded package that if you're looking for that first bike and you're looking for something that you won't immediately grow out of, you're looking to get back into motorcycles and you want a little bit more power than just a 400, and you're looking for just that little bit more that can go further, then this is a good place to come to, is the Z650. Like I said, the most versatile engine in motorcycling. It's everywhere. And it's a great engine, and there's a reason why it's everywhere. There's a reason why they love this machine, and I love this machine as well. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, once again at House of Kawasaki. Keep that shiny side up, folks, and we'll catch you on the next ride.
Hey, what's up everybody? Rabid Hedgehog here, and I want to thank you for watching our videos. If you like what we do, please smash that subscribe button, hit that bell so that way you can receive notifications when our latest videos are out. We also want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Law Tigers, Motorcycle Lawyers. These guys right now are out there riding with you. However, if something happens, they are not ambulance chasers. They want you to give them a call or visit their website. They're at 1-844-533-2913 24/7 and at lawtigers.com as well. If you're in Oklahoma and you're looking for insurance to protect your home, auto, motorcycle, or commercial, give Derek Enloe and Associates Insurance Agency a call. He's at 405-261-1010 or www.enloeinsurance.com. Also, for protecting our engines, we have Doug Crawford with USA Synthetics selling AMSOIL and protecting our engines. He's at www.usasynthetics.com or 405-388-6170. Thank you to our partners for keeping us protected and keeping our motorcycles running strong. At any rate, thanks once again for watching. Have a great day and keep that shiny side up.